and gentlemen, my name is Dr. Jon Belkowitz, and we're here for Concrete Coffee Talk. Don't we have like a theme song, or is it just out of that?
Yeah.
Dude, I don't like that. We're getting a theme song next time you see this, okay?
Not next time.
Mm-hmm. This coffee is freaking terrible. Wow. Tastes metallic. Okay, so is this a Q&A or something? Oh, no, it's the history of concrete. I'm sorry, concrete cop, duh. So a history of concrete. So this is gonna be like a 5 minutes, so I am truncating it for my concrete experts, fellow concrete experts out there. Please take some liberty. Allow me to take some liberty. So concrete as we know it started many different places. Joseph Davidovitz of the Geopolymer Institute claims that the pyramids were actually the original geopolymer concrete. Instead of these slabs of rock that we drug over the desert, it was mixed up and made in formwork. And there is even a YouTube video that does a simulation of this, and it even has them dressed up in this Egyptian garb. Yeah, it's really bad. It's awesomely bad. Then there's work done, and everybody, of course, knows about Roman concrete, but I think I personally believe the best work on Roman concrete is by David E. Moore, and he wrote a book called The Roman Pantheon, The Triumph of Roman Concrete, and it gets into the different mix designs, the different concepts, the history of it, and going into Roman concrete, we actually went. During my PhD, we used the research in David E. Moore's book. We went and bought it from his son. It's no longer in publication, or his son can get you a version from Office Max. But what we did is we recreated his mixes, getting some volcanic ash from, I want to say Iceland, but I could be wrong. And in transit, it came in this glass jar. It was like $500 for a glass jar like this. It broke in transit. We had to sift out the glass from the volcanic ash, and this is when I was, we're living in New Jersey, living with mom and dad, but we recreated, and the one thing that we found is, and there's so much research going on with Roman concrete, and seawater and how that's the way to do it. When it comes to Roman concrete, it started out with slate lime as I believe a waterproofing agent, and then the pozzolanic ash and pozzolanic sand, and sometimes clay pot and rubble were added to take up volume to stretch out that slaked lime over a period or over a certain structure. When they started adding that pozzolanic material from the island of Pozzoli, they started seeing those longer term strengths and the higher, what did I just say, water repellency benefits. So that's where we started coming up with the Romans, but you have to take into account the Romans had something that we don't have, which is patience and also slave labor. So they could do a lot more in I don't want to say a shorter period of time, but in a given time with the materials that they had, and then they knew to wait for that. When we make concrete structures, sometimes our expectations that we're getting 28-day strengths in 24 hours, and sometimes we're getting enough hours or enough strength in 4 hours that we can open up that concrete pavement, let's say, to traffic. With that speed and critical path for construction, which we need, you're sacrificing durability. Now, the Pantheon, which is the largest non-steel reinforced structure in the world, over 2,500 years old, and has survived somewhere around 7 earthquakes, it's still in use today. But then you look at the Kosciuszko Bridge in Hoboken, New Jersey, and that shit has fallen apart after a year's worth of maintenance. So, where's the differentiating factor? It's not just in the materials, which obviously play a big role, but it's also in the environment. The Kosciuszko Bridge is over caustic, nasty, brackish water. It gets nasty de-icing salts and brines. It sees freezing and thawing multiple times a day for certain times during the year. Rome, what are you, 70 degrees plus or minus 5 degrees Fahrenheit? You rarely, if ever, see snow. Maybe you see an earthquake every few hundred years. It's a good place to be concrete. Concrete lasts. That's got to be a great phrase. Rome, it's a good place to be concrete. I want to make a t-shirt out of that. So, when it comes to concrete through the ages, it's also concrete through locations. And there have been some amazing concrete. I'm going to go here a little bit of the future. We were talking about it the other day. The first concrete highway in the United States was built in 1893. That boggles my mind. In Bellefontaine, Ohio, on Main Street. And you can still go see it today. It's over 100 or 125 years old, 127 years old. And yeah, it's broken up a little bit. And, somebody might have gotten me a piece of Main Street, which is upstairs, by the way, excuse me. And it has survived in some pretty harsh and nasty environments. Bellefontaine, Ohio is not like Rome, Italy. We get a few more freezing and thawing cycles in Bellefontaine, Ohio than we do in Rome, and with that more de-icing, salts and brine, and more fatigue and wear. So through time, we have seen concrete mixtures change. At the time we were at the Bellefontaine, Ohio, we were using more of a coarser grain cements. At that time, I believe it was 1847, we came out with our first patent for cement with Joseph Aspden. And then from there, we were using more natural cements. But with this new Portland cement, it was more coarser grain than we're used to now. And it took a lot longer for it to set up and gain strengths compared to what we're seeing now. Not like the Romans, but definitely not like the Roman concrete, but definitely not as fast as what we're dealing with today. And with that, we might be sacrificing some of that durability, but we still are creating something that could last 127 years, to some degree or some efficacy or efficiency. Now, fast forward to where we are today. And when it comes to durability, we have a new poster. Okay, so these are the three things that we try to focus on with our clients. You can only pick two. I love this poster. And when it comes to concrete, this is so important because right now in our industry, we're trying to capture all three of these. So let's say with fast track pavements, can we get a good durable concrete that sets up in 4 hours to allow traffic and is inexpensive? No. That's asking for a unicorn. That's asking for something that's really cool but just doesn't exist. And maybe you can get closer and closer to that, but you're going to be sacrificing one of those. So when it comes to the history of concrete and where we're going, we're trying to make our concrete do things that we saw from Roman concrete when it comes to durability, but we still wanted to meet the critical path of concrete construction to meet the demand of the 7.7 billion people that we have in the world. So anyway, so thanks for joining us. Did I cover everything? Hopefully that was an accordion of a history. Let us know if you have any concrete questions. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We've got a lot more awesome stuff coming your way. If you ever have any questions or ever have any ideas, which we love awesome ideas, please let us know. Go concrete!
Be asphalt.